Hello, art lovers, and welcome back to another figure study where we appreciate the form in Transformers. Today, I wanted to take a look at another, well, I keep saying one of my favorites because pretty much all the figures that I have in my collection now are favorites because if I didn't really like them, then I wouldn't keep them because space is limited. But anyway, this is one of my favorites. I know what I just said, just deal with it. Talking about Reveal the Shield Lugnut. And oh, this guy is fantastic. He is so cool. Okay, to start with, his alt mode is a sort of like long range bomber, I believe. I'm not entirely sure what plane, if any, he's modeled after. Maybe like a B-52. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not much of a plane guy, but he looks really cool. He's got these giant turbines on the side, engines, turbines, whatever. He's got this like gunner's nose here, the nice semi-translucent plastic red, and the cockpit up here. Gotta love the shark teeth painted on the side, and the guns. Unfortunately, the guns are made of a soft plastic, so this one's a little bit kind of bent in, but it's okay. There's also some nice little detail here with the caution stripes around the engines. And he's even got the sort of serial number designations on the wings, the LU6, NU7, or Lugnut. See it? It says Lugnut. That's cute. It's also on his tail. Yeah, he looks good. That's a really nice color scheme, I think, for this, where he's got this, like, kind of industrial Air Force green going here with, like, the yellow stripes that kind of stand out. I, again, love the teeth that are painted there and the sort of bronze color for the guns. And there's all sorts of, like, little details in here, too. You can make out, like, lots of little rivets that have been molded in, lots of little panel lines that are made specifically to look like, panels that would be on the plane. It's very cool. He is a very nice looking plane with this one really dumb gimmick where this opens up and this comes down, and I guess he's supposed to be like a bomber and you can shoot from there, but it just kind of looks inappropriate. I never really mess around with that gimmick much. But yeah, he is very cool looking. He's he's a neat looking plane. He is just this big, bulky looking bomber thing, and that's great. But he is also a robot, so let's look at that because that is also really cool. And one of my biggest, well, I'll explain. I'll go into the details when I get into his robot mode. Never mind my rambling. So, be right back. I am sorry about that. That was very corny of me, but I couldn't resist. Now, if you'll notice, I do not have Lugnut transformed all the way. And that's because I really wanted to talk about my favorite aspect of this figure right off the bat. Now, he's very cool, and I'll get into all those details later, but like his arms, I absolutely adore his arms. His arms are the wings, and this is just so clever to me. It's amazing to me how they engineered this, where you just fold the tip of the wing down, and that pegs into the bottom there. Then these unfurl, and you can straighten them out if you want. You don't have to. And this turns 90 degrees there. There you can see it's making a hand. Then the entire wing flips 180 degrees. This little panel comes in. And then you just angle it down, and you can kind of turn it, bend it, and the wing is totally now his arm. And it's just like, I don't normally talk about the mechanics involved in these videos, but here it's just so cool to me how this how like just his like it's like where'd the wings go? It's just it's so impressive to me how well they were able to just engineer this so that everything compacts and folds and twists around the way it does so that it's like just it goes so well together. It's fantastic. So yes, reveal the shield Lugnut. He is an absolutely incredible looking figure. He's got, this just gigantic eye, which looks pretty messed up in a good way. It's kind of scary. This little big mouth opens. Some nice little details along the side too. That it's like a little paint on the jaw there, but like a lot of this is just light piping plastic that doesn't light pipe super well, but it's okay. I do like how like the cockpit of the plane, like the gunner section, kind of splits open and gives you like this buffed out chest. It's a little it's a little annoying that like you can kind of see through in a certain angle, but whatever. It's got these big beefy arms, these giant turbine shoulders, which I love. This hunched back, the the stocky frame, the stocky legs. I love the look of this guy. I love the proportions. He looks like just a bruiser, and he kind of is. Another thing that I really loved is when I first got this figure, I kept slightly mistransforming him. Like there were just these little things that I would get wrong. Like first, I wouldn't push his legs in all the way. So, unlike what I have here, where he's got these nice stocky legs, I would have his legs more up like this, which they're fine, but they make him a little bit taller and kind of, I don't know, they look a little bit off to me, or they looked a little bit off to me. It just kind of seems, he doesn't seem as stout, as sturdy. And then I also had an issue where I did not realize that this section here, which I'm totally not doing on camera, this section here is actually like this, and his head totally came down and got all screwed up. Okay, so we'll just pretend that I did this somewhat okay. And yeah, so I originally had him kind of like this, and it looks fine like this, but then like I just kept realizing like, oh, I have him slightly mistransformed, and then this thing that sort of bothered me is now perfect, because when this section here comes up and just gives him that little bit of extra hunch, it just adds so much. It's like such a small amount of movement, but it adds a lot to his silhouette and his overall just structure. And it looks great. And then, the legs, when they're too long, they looked okay too, but now pushing these in, which I, again, trying to keep on camera and probably failing at miserably, pushing these in, they just add a little bit more to him. They make him, the fact that they make him a little bit shorter, but they also kind of close up some of these gaps. It all looks so great. And once I figured out that I was, the proper way to transform him, I was already in love with the figure. But once I figured out what to do properly, it totally opened it up for me. And I just absolutely adore this guy. Now, getting back to the actual proper stuff that I should be talking about, the overall color is mostly the same, although now you've got more of this sort of shiny Decepticon purple, I guess you could say, in the midsection, a little bit on the knees and thighs, and some on the inner forearms here. A lot of the rest of the color is just, what's on the plane, and that's totally cool. It's a great looking figure. He is. I absolutely adore his frame, just his his body type is great. He's so dense. He's dense and great, and he's just lovely. Yeah. It's also kind of nice how the letter designations end up on the inside of the arms, so that when you're looking at them from the side, it, has a little bit more cohesive color scheme there. I'm not super fond of the tail just being just hanging off of his back, but it does press in, like, it compacts in quite nicely and kind of closes that off pretty well. I think it works really well. It really does. And like just these little other details, like these shades of shiny green that are slightly different, just help separate out some more details. And even though the fingers aren't really, they're made out of more of like a shiny, slightly marbled looking plastic. They're not actually painted, but they're the same shade as these, and it really helps kind of keep everything coherent. It looks really good, and there's like some nice little molded details in the inner thighs, and like the plain details work really nicely as robot details. Just he is a really good looking he's a really good looking guy. He is a beast, and I love him. I still really like too this nice copper color in the turbines there. Looks really good. Anyway, that has been my rambling about the Reveal the Shield Lugnut, and he is very cool. I was lucky enough to get my hands on a used copy of, or used, whatever you want to call it, a used version of him for a decent price. And I'm super glad I did, because he is very cool. And I do not regret my purchase one bit. He's a fun guy. So anyway, thank you everybody for watching. As per usual, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Any combination of those three would be fantastic. And yeah, if there's any other figures that you want me to take a look at, please let me know. I can't promise I will get to them because I only have so much money and I only own so many figures. But if I own it, I will definitely try to do a video on it. And thank you again, as per usual. I already did this part. I'm sorry. Oh, it's been a long day. It's been a long day and I'm tired. But thank you again for watching one last time. And remember, as per usual, art is more than meets the eye.